Just welcome to today's London session. This is Harmonic Scanner and Pitchforks. I hope you're all doing well. So let's start sharing the screen. I was just looking at the Harmonic Scanner as it's Monday to catch up with some scans. So it doesn't matter which broker you choose, doesn't matter what broker you're on. We start with the 1 hour time frame analysis for this strategy. So I start with Trader's Way, which is the main feed for the Harmonic Scanner, and that's NZD/USD. I haven't done this one, I don't think. Make sure that time zone is the same as your local time zone, bottom right down here, and then just mark the points. This is a shark. You can see it worked its way through very nicely. So it is a very good confirmed scan. So then just look at the date stamp at the bottom in your own local time, right down here, XA 28th, for example, of July at 0900 my time. I'm in Paris. B 29th at 09. I've done some of the others, so I'll just tell you which other ones I've done, and I'll post them in my Harmonic Scanner Pitchforks group later. C 30th of July at 0900, and D, and one or two of them I had to move the D point, so you have to make a judgment on what you think of the scan at that point. I'm not always entirely sure. So NZD/USD, come over here again. You need to make sure you're on the same time zone, time frame. So 1 hourly, that's on the hourly. Oh, Euro NZD, I just want to show you that one. That's just set up here. This is a buy. It's done the big push up. This is on the 1 minute chart. I had the alert set. It's done the big push up here. It's done the break back down. It's got the pitchfork touch, break and retest of pitchfork, break and retest of quarter theory. It's above the 62. Wait for it to come above, and if you're not sure, take it on demo. Come above 1.77500. This is a fast moving pair. You need a 15 pip stop loss, and that's our trying to find the 1 minute trend. There, settings, green. Okay, so we'll just watch this for a minute. I'll take my alert off so we've got fewer lines to look at, and we'll put on our long position. Please make your own judgments on whether you're getting into things or not. It's on you, particularly if you're on your live account. You must make your own confirmations, but this is my idea there. So 15 pip to cover me on the extensions. Now this could be a very good trade because it's coming off the extensions now. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm a bit late in there, but I'll just let me just EN. Uh, 1.7735. Okay, share screen again. Right. So have to keep looking at this one for a minute. 5, 3, 5, 5, 4, 5. This is just how I like to do it, so that I've got my 5, 5, 4, so I don't have to think about it when I'm running a trade. And then I clone that 5, 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, 6, 8, 5 as it's a 15 pip one. Right, so see what happens with this. I've only put a very low lot size on this because this is the first time I've started to run them actually live on the live sessions. So you can see I've got in my red box, I've got the 62 EMA. Just find my, this is 62. Oh, this is quite thick. So in your red box, you want all your 3 confirmations. So I've got my 62 EMA, I've got both extensions, and I've got quarter theory. And there's my 1 minute trend. It is a fast pair. We've just come past the hour, but we've got all the confirmations. So off there, that's 13 pips up there. We need to check the news, which I have to say, I forgot. So Monday, all day, Canadian bank holiday, and we've got American dollar at 4 p.m. my time, red news, so that's okay on there. So let's just move on to some other things. Let's hope that 62 holds that. Going down, so that might take me out. So you could move your stop loss slightly. I don't tend to do that. I'd rather be taken out. Otherwise, I find I end up upsetting my compounding percentage statistics. I had all the confirmations for this. If it takes me out, then it's one of the ones that takes me out, and that's the way I view my account. I've had a very good break and a retest off that inner extension, plus the break and the retest of quarter theory, plus the pitchfork touch, plus above the 62, and all the confirmations in the red box. So there's nothing else you can do if that takes you out. So I'm sorry about that if it takes us out, but I'm going to move on to some other things, because what I do now, because I don't move things, I honestly do not move things once I'm in a trade. So, because it just drives you nuts, your emotions go all over the place. So once you've made your, actually sometimes if I'm in a sludge, as I call it, round about the entry point, and I can see it's gone the other way, it's failed, it's gone the other way. If I'm in a buy and then it's failed, or I'm in a sell and it's gone for the buy, then sometimes I do actually close the trade at 1 or 2 pips sludge. But generally, I'm not that aggressive. I don't get straight back in if it turns the other way. I know some people do, but chance tells us that it's best to wait 15 or 20 minutes before getting back in. But you can see the same setup occurring. So it failed the first time, sometimes it could fail the second time, and then it'll go the third time. So I'm going to leave this for the moment. By all means, keep an eye on it while we're talking through other things. I'm waiting for that alarm to go off for stop profit in when it's at 15 pips. So 535, 635, 685, 685. There. Okay, now if this takes off, if we have a look at this scan, and let me just show you, see if we can find the scan. So there's our D point. It came up past the median. You can see it's respected the scan. This is on the 15-minute. Respected the scan very, very nicely indeed. And it's now bouncing. The extensions are doing their job. They are pinging price back in. So that key level is that quarter theory on the 1 minute. We want price above the quarter theory. So EN is a fast pair. So if we're in this, we would, and it stays in, then we would hope to get at least 20 pips and up to the next major level, because when we're in these fast pairs, we are looking for, and there we are, it's taking off now. So we're looking always to stretch our levels. And the take profit level, I can see an old pitchfork running through here. I'll just show this to you. Style, green, that one there. So I've got a critical level there with 2 pitchforks for price to get through. So on this one, I'm looking for a take profit of 20 pips obviously gives me a trade goal, 2 to 1. 25 pips would give me the daily target done for the day. And then if it breaks through on a break and a retest, then we're looking for possibly that next major level at 1.78000, which is your next quarter theory. That's 45 pips. And then up to that pitchfork at 53, and so on and so forth. But you don't know what retrace you're going to get, and you've got to look left at where you've had previous lines of support and resistance as well. But that's how you run your trades. You're always thinking when you get in, how am I going to get out of this? So obviously our first consideration is to make sure we can get a stop profit in of 1 pip, and then we know we've got a risk-free trade in case things turn against us. And let's look at our previous lines of support and resistance. I'll do that on the 5-minute. No, I'll do it on the 1-minute. So it's coming up nicely now. So we're okay. You can see there, it's a little bit, oh, that's looking nice. So you see all that stall out on the 1-minute roundabout at that level, which is up at our 20-25 pips there. So that's quite nice for us as a line that it can reach before it drops back. And then the next one is back over here. And it came up to that quarter theory at 1.78, that high up there. Okay. So, but EN, when you're in a pair like EN, you're not looking to come out of it at 10 or 12 pips. It's a 10 out of 10 fast moving pair, and Chance says it's the one where he always likes to get greedy. So if we look at our pivots, which is the I call it the lazy man's high and lows, you can see that we've got the higher lows forming, 370, 376, just a bit of a stall out there, which was as it came out of Tokyo into London. This is your pre-London fake out up here. And you can see it's now forming the higher highs at the moment, and it's now come above quarter theory again. So I'm pleased with this one at the moment. So I'm just going to leave it until I hear that alert, and just let it do its own thing, because that's what Chance teaches us, and it is quite tough to get that disciplined. But ask yourself, what is the option? You see a trade failing and you close out round about the sludge area, fair enough, and I do that sometimes, but usually when I've just got in, not once it started running. Secondly, once it comes down here, Chance says he does usually wait for it just to hit the stop loss. He doesn't play around with it, and I have seen him actually in live trades where he's been saved by literally 1 pip, broker spread and commission, and not been taken out of the trade, and then it has taken off. And I have found personally, once I start playing around with my settings and with the rules and with the strategy, I end up in more trouble. So personally, I'd rather take the hit if things go wrong and work it out on, if I have a bad day and I've lost 6%, then I do shut the computer and walk away. But I know with this strategy at 2 to 1 that I'm generally doing well you know, and it's carrying on getting me where I want to get. So we'll come back and carry on with, we'll come back to this in a minute. So we were looking at NZD USD to draw that up on the hourly, and that's this one here. So I'll just carry on with this. And as you know, once you've set up your charts, like we saw on that Euro NZD, which I did before I came on here, then it's you're just waiting for alerts to go off, and that's the other thing I like about this strategy. So here we are on the hourly, and we are looking for the 28th local time zone, bottom right on your trading view, needs to be the same as your own. So 28th, you're looking for highs to lows, highs to lows, to high, to low, to high, or you can put a brush mark on. And as you do more of them, you'll find that you can do a pitchfork, you know, in about 30 seconds or so. So 28th of July at 3, that's my time, down to the 28th at 9, 29th at 9, check your time at the bottom, 30th at 9, and the 31st at 9. That's up there, okay? So that looks the same. Just check that on your scanner. Yes, it does. Then we'll put the pitchfork on. Make sure you've got the magnet on the left. Come up to this little scanner icon here. Use
Sarah,
hello.
I was wondering the other day, could you not just draw up the just the pitchfork? You don't need to put the harmonic scanner over.
You can do, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was wondering if people were struggling to do it like that. You could just put the pitchfork on, but
you can do, yeah. I've seen Chance do that. I don't know why we do it like this. Maybe it's just easier when you're going back through the charts to see visually what you're looking for and whether the D point's moved. He's never said to us, you can just put the pitchfork on. I have seen him just put the pitchfork on himself, and he draws it without, you know, even looking at the scanner, obviously, because he's done, you know, but it takes you a long time to learn that. But yeah, if you feel you can work like that, why not?
It means you can do the second pitchfork as well, doesn't it, retrospectively?
Oh, well, what, you mean if you've got the drawing on?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I certainly have got used to looking at it like this, so I don't think I'd feel so confident.
yeah, I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep putting the harmonic scan on there. It's just for the newer people if they.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've seen him do it on crypto as well, where he just puts the. So this is the only where he just puts the pitchfork on, because obviously you haven't got the same scan, I don't think. So now we just need to make sure that the important thing is not the drawing, it's the pitchfork, and it must be, that's why we use the magnet, it must be accurate to the end of the wick, and the magnet will lock it on, it takes it directly onto the end. So this is the only fiddly bit. And if you use the C point, it will move the whole scan, so just be wary of that. You need to use the actual circle. I didn't know that myself until someone asked me to look at why it was moving the other day, and we learnt that together. So you can see it, but as I say, you don't have to have your drawing on that accurately. I haven't found that there's that many new scans. To be honest, I meant to look yesterday and I didn't, so I tried to get on a bit earlier this morning before Sean's session and just have a look at a few. So B point and the A point don't matter quite so much, obviously, because you haven't got a pitchfork on them. And then there's the X, and you need to find the highest point. If you've got it like that, where they're all together, there, then you just pick any of them. I'm going to go for that one, which is the top of the highest point, but if they're just draw a horizontal line across, but it does matter, because we're using these over a period of months. You can still trade off them, but if your angle is off, then it's going to be off over a period of 200-300 days, like 50-60 pips. The angle will go out, and that renders trading on the 1 minute impossible. Your trades will be out, and that means that you can't use the pitchfork. So nothing for us at the moment on NZD/USD. We've locked, I just need to make sure I've locked it on, then you won't get it glitching. There you see the padlocks open. If you right click here on the back of the screen, just come to object tree, and then you can see the padlocks open there. So I want to lock on, and then that means that I don't know why some of those are open down there. I must have forgotten to do it, because otherwise I found that when I'm going back over a period of time, I can things can slide off. So there's no trading here on this one at the moment. We've got the pitchfork telling us a buy. We've got the 62 saying buy, but we've got quarter theory and pitchfork right up there. So I haven't really got a trade on that one at the moment. I think I've put, what I would do is put an alert up here. This is why it's a waiting game. So add alert, and I'm going to wait to see, because that's a nice entry possibly for it carrying on with a buy. Although, sorry, at the moment this is still in a sell. If you look at the downward trend, the trend is your friend. So I'm going to change my mind on that one. If you look back here, the orange, we've got a sell scan. The orange has crossed the blue. It's worked its way down very nicely past the quarter theory, and it's touched the 15-minute, and it's still working its way down. So actually this is a selling setup. So you want to look at it either at that point when it crosses there. It's not a pair I trade very much, actually, NZD/USD. Look at it as it crosses that pitchfork, or down at this level here. So I'm not going to put an alert on that, because I won't trade that. It's quite a slow pair. It's not one of my favorites. NZD/USD, I know Chance trades them all. It only moves at a speed of a 2 out of 10. So if you're new to this strategy, and you're still looking at it as a possibility, as a strategy for you, then it's a good pair for you to trade, because you'll feel very much in control. You can watch how it's moving, and it won't kind of run away with you. So that's NZD/USD, and then we'll just have a look, see if there are any more scans. There was USD/JPY. Now this one, I didn't like the look of that scan, because it fell right off that D point, and then it moved up. So I don't think I drew this one. And C to D anyway was only 60 pips, and our rule is a minimum of 80 pips. That is an EN scan there. Can't remember how big that one was. 95. And that was from the 30th of July, that one. So let me think, where is EN? So that's come back down and hit the extension again. So, so it's in this little price trap at the moment. So moving quite slowly for this pair, but the 62 is holding it, and it's wicking off that at the moment. Just want to remind myself which scan this is, what the date was. That's that one of the 30th of July, yeah. Just double check I've got it on right. That one. So that's where we are at the moment on that one. Just wondering why I've got let me come back to the 1 minute. On the scanner, why have I got extensions showing there? That's what I'm getting confused about. Oh, it's just the angle then. It's just the way the angle is. That's definitely the same scan, X 29th. Just the angle, isn't it? X 29th. So it's just quite a steep angle. Okay, so let me come back to just double check if we've got any others. OrdCAD, again, I didn't like this one. I don't like the way it did that off that D point. I suppose you could say to yourself, you take the D point up there, up to the, always up to the highest. And then it has worked its way down quite nicely. So it depends whether you feel confident moving D points when the scanner hasn't moved it. If I drew this, then I most definitely would do that. I won't do that for this morning. I'll look at this after this session, but that's how I would be treating that scan. What I want to do for the rest of this session is come back through some London pairs. And this is the beginning of the week. So the market is still settling down Monday morning. Euro Ord, let me write these down. Euro Ord, nothing on that. Remember also, sorry, I should say, we do also look at the other time frames. So you can look at M30 and even the 15-minute. You might find some that's too small. There's one that looks like it might be setting up. That's Ord JPY on the M15. And that is C to D. No, that's only 48. So it looked bigger. So those are all small, but you can look at the 15-minute on any of the brokers. Ord JPY on the 30-minute, sorry, 30 minutes. C to D. No, too small. So I haven't seen, that looks peculiar, very peculiar there. So I haven't seen a lot of new things. And then you can also look at the H4, but we never ever look at the daily. So there's Euro JPY, that's gone off up there. So I don't like that one at the moment, unless you move the D point up. So not a lot of new ones, but I'll double check and put them in the group after this. So that's Euro Ord. Let's look at something else. Euro JPY. So it's crossed, what's this? You just break, don't know why I've still got an alert on there. Just break it down when you're looking, if you think it's coming into an area of where we've got our quarter theory or pitchfork. So you've got the orange has crossed down to the blue for a sell. It's stalling off quarter theory. It can't break through. It's sandwiched between the two of the current trend, the 62 EMA, which is our current trend, and that's the 15-minute one. But you can see it is forming lower highs, but it needs to break through that quarter theory, and then we'd be looking at covering our stop loss down there. And I always set it at 20, but obviously we're looking for major levels. So we would hope that this one would be able to come down to hit the extensions because then it completes the scan. But at the moment it's just playing between the two. So the next thing you can do is set your alert just above this Euro JPY, set this above your pitchfork. Don't get in between this sort of cheese wedge shape, because you'll find you get, I get stuck in that sometimes. You'll find you get stuck in that, and that's not a good place to be. So I'll put an alert on there like this. And again, I always do my different lines in the same color. Then my brain doesn't have to think about what I'm looking at when the alerts come up, or whether I've drawn a trend line. So my alerts are always in pale blue, and I extend the right hand line. Then it doesn't matter how long it takes. I just set it about 2 or 3 pips above on the 1 minute. So that's what I'm looking for on this. Next. GBP Chef isn't one that I trade very much, because, well, not at all, because it is very, very slow. And I can't even see it on my list. But oh, there it is. Oh, sorry, I have got a note saying it's medium, but I do know I don't bother with it that much. In fact, I may not even have a scan on it. I've got no scan, very few scans on this one, if any. That's why I don't trade it. Let's just look at the object tree, see if I've literally only got 1, 2 scans ever, and Chance probably gave us one of those. If I come out to the 4 hourly. Yeah, so my scans are down here. That's all I've got on it. So can't help you on that one. So that's G Chef. Old CAD, USD, GBP CAD, very fast pair, crazy pair, 10 out of 10. When it moves in London, you can get your 50, 60 pips, do several days work in one. So we've got quite a nice situation here. We've got it selling. We've got it coming down below pitchfork and quarter theory. So it's coming off this scan. Oh, well, this is a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? Because that, I'm not sure about that D point on that one. And price has now moved right out of that. I need to check that one. Price has moved into this scan, which is, let me just lock that on, so you know which one that I'm trading. XA. I've got it off a second pitchfork from that scan, which has a D point that I think should at least be moved up there, if not to there. But my gut feeling, and I'm not saying I'm always right, because I'm not, my gut feeling is I'm going to at least move that. Sometimes what I do is I wait till I'm on Chance's session, and then if he asks for questions, I ask him then. I send in the scan on TradingView and say, have I got the D? Should I move it up further? So if I look at that now, then I'd say, actually, I think I prefer that one, because it's always highs to lows. But I'm not going to move it right up there. But Chance might say, well, actually, it's moved right up there. So if you did that, you've then got, oh, well, that does look very nice, actually. Because if we remember rightly, the other day, last week, those GBP pairs did shoot up, didn't they? Several hundred pips. So that's off the white one. And I'll just come down to the 1 minute.
So is this chart analysis tonight? Is it?
Yes.
I've got the same pitchfork. I'm just going to screenshot it and on TradingView and see. I'm going to
Yes.
send it to him and see
Yes.
if he wants to move it.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be
See what he
helpful
does.
because I'm still learning when you do and don't move these, and I try to avoid them or take them off. But you know, it's good to get more confident with when to do it.
Yeah.
So I tend to wait for another scan or just not trade something. But I have got 2 scans that I can trade off on this one because I've got my green one as well, if you didn't want to use the white one. So the white one is the one where I've moved the D point, but we can see on my old green one, which was an XA off it, which actually, as it's off the same scan, I do need to just, so this is probably, if there's new people on here, I'm sorry, we're caught up in something that normally doesn't come up that often. Perhaps looks a bit intimidating, but just try and go with the flow, don't let it rattle you, it does become clear. So I've got an X. Or am I behind? Just let me hide that one. So actually I'm not, I am off an accurate scan. It was just that it's not a second pitchfork. I'm off, I am off this correctly. Except that slipped, I think. Hang on, that's the 5 minute. Don't know if I can go back that far now. Probably not. This is why I put that padlock thing on, because I don't want things to move while I'm trying to get back to look at something. So always just put your pitchforks on the highest or lowest point, but if it's dropped directly off the D point, then normally the scan has failed if it's dropped directly into the stop loss. And TradingView will only go back 2 weeks. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm just trying to find, and that's okay down there. So I just want to finish finding this green line up here, and then we're okay. Whoops. There, just need to correct this point here. And you can see the time has stopped showing, so you would have to come back to the 5 minutes. And that's that point there. I just wanted to double check. So that's okay, as long as we think that it's fine to have moved the D point where we have. So let's come back up and look and see what's happening to price at the moment. Up at this point here. So if you remember, the green one is an old scan, and we've got a sell here. Let me just see if I can magnify it for you. Right, so you're waiting for a break and a retest. You've got the orange cross below the blue. The 62 is in a sell. You've got a pitchfork touch, which is our green one, if you're in doubt about the white one that we've just been discussing. And well, it's a fast pair. You're waiting for a break and a retest. But we've had quite a move up, and then down so we can put on a 1 minute trend line. So that was the pick up as many touches as you can. You need a minimum of 2, preferably 3, and then you've got a break and a retest back to the 15-minute there. Let me just put my line on in green. And then don't worry if pairs look like they're running away from you. Again, that's caught me out so many times. I thought, oh, I've got to get in. It's running away from me. I'm going to miss the trade. And sure enough, I have ended up in drawdown. Fast pair, so you want 15 pip stop loss. Sometimes you can reduce this because you can see that it's so far away from your quarter theory. It is covering your previous high. So chance does say to us that we can do that. And then fast pair, so you're looking down to that level here. And then if it does move, we'll go back in a minute and see what its previous lines of support and resistance are. So right along that pitchfork, if you're looking for more than 20 pips, it's got to break these levels. That's the open of market at the beginning of the week, which is why it looks strange. You've got that gap. And then when was it last down at this level? It did that big climb up, and that was 30th of July, this big climb up last week, if you remember, late last week. So it's come up all the way up here. Right, so let's come back and magnify it. Wait for it. I'll take this one on demo. So we're waiting for it to come back and retest our pitchfork, but at the moment it's rejected off the 62. So you had to stall out very nicely between the pitchfork and the quarter theory. So you've now got it below. It might just run down from here, actually. How many? But I don't know. We didn't get a break back to the pitchfork yet. So that's only 7.8 pips. No, normally, what if we break it down, what have we got? We've got it below the 62 for the sell. We've got the pitchfork touch, which is mandatory, so that's okay. We haven't had a break and a retest back to the pitchfork. We've got a break and a retest of the 1 minute trend there, and now look at it running down. But that sort of thing I find quite difficult. You know, you could say to yourself, well, all right, it tested and it rejected once, twice, 3, 4 times, really. It went back up to the pitchfork there, but it didn't give a 10 pip break and retest. So that sort of thing I find quite, particularly on a fast pair, quite difficult to get into, because I haven't had the retest back to the pitchfork. So let me see how many pips it's come off it now. Sometimes they can go about 20 pips and still come back. So that's 10 pips. So I'd like to see it come back up before getting in. Let's hope it's going to do that. And then in down to there. So 20 to 25 pips. And how many pips would that be down to the pitchfork? Would give you nearly your daily goal. But if you see it stalling out, 23 pips. So if you see it stalling out on there, then get out. It's a fast pair. Don't try and be greedy. Because if you've done your trade goal at this time of the day, then that's really good. Profit level, it's come down to the 20, because I like to keep it always set at the 20. And we'll just watch this one for a bit. And have a look. the hull, which usually we use for exits. But let's just see what it's telling us on the 15-minute band at the back. So that is saying the band hasn't changed on the 15 minutes. It is a lagging indicator, but it's still saying buy. But you can see this long red line down on the 1 minute is saying sell. So what we'd like to see is as it comes back up here and then flips from green to red on the 1 minute, as it pushes down, obviously the 15-minute changes to red. So it was in a strong downward trend all throughout Tokyo. And then for, where are we, half an hour or so, 50 minutes, it's pushed up, but it is coming back down now. And remember our rule about not getting into, whoops. Oh yes, I've started to put on our 3-in-1 indicator, which Brian developed for us. HPF indicator, it's got the 62,930. If you're saving indicators, and that means the quarter theory doesn't glitch, doesn't stop working if your markets are closed and you're back testing, or you go back in time away from current price. Let me just show you where to find it. It's very, very good. Harmonic pitchfork indicators. I changed them orange and blue for the first two EMAs, the 62, the number 2 is the 930, and then I change all those to orange. And then you just leave that at 62 for the EMA 1, the orange one, which is your current trend, and the 930, which is how the 1 minute trend would look on the 15-minute time frame if you're on that chart, but it saves you going back to the 15-minute. Okay. And this is, when you put it on, it will appear like that. So you have to change it all. But that is set. You don't have to change anything on the inputs. Just change your colors. So change that to orange, paler orange, that to blue, and then all these to the same color, orange. That's all you have to do. So I'll just take that one off. Make sure I've left the right one on. That's how you want it to look. If you want to take a screenshot of that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So that's your hull. And then the we're 10 minutes before the hour, 5 minutes before the hour. You can get the fake out. So I'm hoping that will now push right back up there. And then that would give you your entry at 1.75470. It might not do that, of course, but that's what normally I would expect, particularly on these fast pairs. As it comes up to the hour, that it does a fake out to the opposite side, to the way you want the trade to go. So we'll just finish off. I don't know if anyone's got any. I'll just stop sharing for a moment to see if anyone's got any questions. Can't see anything in the chat, so I'll come back just to share screen. Let's see what happened on EN. Come to the 1 minute. So that is moving very slowly for that pair, but that's good. It's still in it. It's working its way up. It's the 62 is holding it. It's now above quarter theory. So it's done another rejection off quarter theory. So that's good for us on this trade at the moment. I like to 5, 3, 5. If you move your entry, I don't bother with any of this account size stuff on here, but if you move your entry price, it will automatically change your profit level, and we're 2 to 1 on this strategy, so I always have that at 200, and I like to keep that exact. That's a 15 pip pair, so I know exactly what I'm doing with my slider bars. Okay, so I'm waiting for that alert to go off there, and let's go back to GCAD, and there we are, gone right back up there to the 62 on the hour. So don't get in this side of the hour. I'm very glad we didn't think, oh, the trade's running away, because that happened to me so many times. And I think it's best to leave the trade and find another one rather than get in and then suffer being in drawdown on a fast pair, particularly as you go through your trading journey and increase your lot size, because it's just so much grief and angst. So this will give you a nice setup in a minute, and just double check you know what you're doing. So you've got look at your trade check sheet, which I haven't got open down here at the moment. If you don't know what that is, then anyone on here, Connor or anyone, can give you that, or it's in the files in my group. And you must have a pitchfork touch, and then you want two other confirmations. So you want price below the 62, you want a 1 minute break and retest of the 1 minute trend line, and you want a quarter theory break and retest. So you're looking for that sort of thing, or something called a fib, which we haven't got on this. So you want a very nice break and retest there, right back up on the hour. Again, I still wouldn't be in it because you're 2 or 3 minutes this side of the hour. Just let it settle down. Even if you lose a few pips, you can still get in. We are, well, that's 5 pips off, but it is a fast pair, because it can still, this could be a little retrace and it could still come up. But this is looking very nice. You had all those stall outs on that. The candles, oh, I'm going to do a candle chart, candle pattern chart I'm going to put in the group to talk to us more about candles, because they do, Chances had candlestick pattern training, and they do tell you a story, so I do want to learn them better. So wicks off the quarter theory tell you that's very good. Price can't break through, but it can't also break through the pitchfork. Then it starts to break through and wicked down, so that's a very good sign for you that it's heading in your direction. And then the break and the retest of at least 10 pips off the pitchfork. So here you are, you can see it's pushing up again 2 minutes before the hour. That's why you don't panic and think, oh, well, it rejected off the 62. I'll get in, because we're 1 minute before the hour. Nice wick off here. So just let it get past the hour. And if we look at the close of the hourly candle, then you can see that you're getting a wick off this blue, this sell buy candle. So that's telling you a story as well on the sorry, I was focusing on that slide bar. It's saying to you that that was the highest price it could make, which was lower than these. It's forming lower highs. This is going to be how it prints forever. So this is going to be its closing price. This was the open of the candle down here. That was the lowest price that it made. So how it closes in the next 19 seconds, you look over here, 17, 16, 15 seconds is how it will print on the chart forever. So the fact it's wicking off below quarter theory and the pitchfork on the hourly candle is showing us that it just doesn't like it. And it's starting now the new hour with a sell candle. So 30 minute and 15 minute, it's below. Both are, so you've got a sell trade idea here if you want to look at it. It's below both your pitchfork and your quarter theory, but if you're learning, then please do it on demo, and if you're on a live account, please make your own judgments as you learn this strategy, because we are not signal providers. So I'll go back like that and I will be on again. I'm doing two sessions a day now, so I'll be on again at 1 p.m. At 2 p.m. UK time. I've moved it slightly back because that's when New York takes off. So let me just so look at that, a little trying to get back to where we were, being lazy, using my Look at that, it's just shot off the other way. And that's why we don't get in before the hour. 1 minute past 10. That's what can happen. And that's a beautiful story and a lesson in discipline and patience, that we could have thought the trade was running away with us and thought, panic, panic, I need to get in. But we said, no, we'll wait for the break and the retest. Then we thought, oh, well, maybe it's rejecting off the 62. We should get in here. But we said, no, it's the last few minutes before the hour. Then we had the wick off on the end of the hourly candle. We thought, great, we've got an entry, bang. And then suddenly it shoots up that way. Nothing. What can you do about that? Absolutely nothing. Price, and it's gone past the 15-minute. And that is why that is a fantastic lesson in patience. That one, why it's much better to let a trade, lose a trade in terms of it running away from you and think, oh, damn, I missed it, and find another one, than get in like that and then have that happen to you. It is a fast pair, so if you are in, it hasn't taken you out, because again, it's a 15 pip stop loss, but it is still pushing up. So that is a good lesson. So I'm going to finish now. Our EN is down here again.
Sarah, my GCAD last scan is 150 pips between fork, so I can take pitchfork.
You can take a quarter theory, yeah.
Does that mean that you just need a quarter theory touch and you treat it like a pitchfork?
Yes, you need a break and a retest off the quarter theory, and I would obviously also look for lower highs, or whichever way you're going. Make sure the orange line is below or above the blue the way you want it. So basically you're following the momentum of the trade, but yes, you wait for the break and the retest of the quarter theory and up. And that's also very good for stack-ins when you've got those big legs with a strong momentum trade. Yeah? Does that make sense?
I haven't looked at stack-ins yet.
Sorry? No, well, I don't do them very often because you've got to kind of, they get easier the more you do, don't they? I find it quite difficult to get in more than one trade at once. I very, very rarely do that. I prefer just to stick to one trade at a time, whereas chance will be in up to 3. I'm trying to do more of that and trying to do more stack-ins, but it's not a competition, is it? See how fast we can do it. The thing is to be confident, get the process down, build a small account, because then you can add more money in, and gradually over time develop one's trading style.
So stack-ins would be like it's going past quarter theory, so you go again, and then it's going past another pitchfork, and now you go again, and you leave them all running.
Yes, and you pull the slider bar up so that you are not in any draw. Say you're in a buy, so you pull. So it's a strong momentum trade on a fast pair. The first trade you've got open, then it gets to say quarter theory. You open the new trade there, and then you're pulling your slider bar up on your first trade. There's a very good, I think he's got a stacking video on his favorites. And then you look at closing your first trade, so you've secured 40, 50 pips, and then running your slider bar up, and you can even open a third trade. So they're all like extra profits because you've already done your 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. I'm pretty sure there's a video in the favorites where he explains it brilliantly.
Excellent.
And it's hugely powerful, because on the 1 minute it means you can literally do 100, 150 pips. The first one of 50 or so, another one of 40, and another one of 30. It's just tremendous. And if they stop profit you out because you've moved the slider bar, so it moved your stop profit too tight, it doesn't matter. You've still secured a hell of a lot. Do you know what I mean? And there we are. Look at GCAD, that crazy pair. So that I hope was helpful for everyone on understanding why to remain patient and why not to get in trades, particularly on very fast pairs just before the hour. And where is our EN? EN's just taken me out, but that doesn't mean I won't get in again. Well, that's very annoying that it failed, but I'll still look at that because it's still forming its higher lows. And just because the first one has failed doesn't mean you should be underconfident about getting in it again. So I'm going to be looking at that again as we come off the session. So that's all for now. I've got something in the chat. Is it every day at 8 a.m.? It's Monday and Thursdays at 8 a.m. UK, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays it's 9 a.m. UK, because I like to go on Chance's London live session, which is the immediate hour before. So it's an hour later, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Uploading a full schedule for all 3 live traders. Watch the FB groups for that. Thanks very much for doing that, Babs. That's very helpful. So bye, and I'll see you all at 2 p.m. UK time.